thankfully I was living in an area of the favela where there wasn't a risk of a bullet coming in through my wall. But, you know, I know that there is a lot of people that live in certain areas of the favela where a bullet coming in through the wall is a very real risk and reality, you know.
Ele largou tudo aqui na Inglaterra para ir morar no Brasil, mais precisamente na cidade do Rio de Janeiro, na comunidade da Rocinha. O vídeo de hoje está bem especial porque nós vamos bater um papo com o britânico Jody, que é da área de Cornwall, aqui na Inglaterra, e ele largou tudo para ir morar no Brasil.
Well, I'm Jody from the south of England, from Cornwall. I'm 35. I moved to Brazil when I was 27, I believe. In May 2013, I moved to Brazil. So it was a year before the World Cup started there. I really wanted to change my life a lot. I actually went through a bit of a depressed stage in England. I had a rough time with an ex-fiance. We were together for 7 years, and I raised another guy's child with her for 7 years. And we were planning our wedding. We were trying to have a baby together, but then she cheated on me and got pregnant with another guy and then ran away with this other guy. So the thing that really hurt me the most was losing the boy that I'd raised for 7 years, because he wasn't biologically mine. So I lost him, and that really hurt me a lot. And I got very depressed, stayed in England depressed for about 2 years. And it got to the point where I knew I had to do something drastic to change my life and be happy again. And I thought, just move away, go somewhere far away, learn another language, go somewhere exotic that's warm all year round, nice beaches, palm trees, somewhere where none of my friends were going. You know, like I didn't want to go to Australia or somewhere else in Europe where most Brits go. And actually Rio came about from a dream. I didn't remember much of the dream, but when I woke up, a word was stuck in my head, and it kept repeating over and over in my head, and I'd never heard this word before. And I thought, the word was Ipanema, and I don't think I'd ever heard of it before. So anyway, after a couple of hours of it going over in my head, I thought, I need to Google Ipanema. I need to find out what the hell this word is in my head from this dream. So I Googled Ipanema, saw where it was in Rio, and looked at the photos and just thought, oh my God, that place looks absolutely amazing. That's it, I want to go there. So literally, wasn't even a month, maybe 2 or 3 weeks after the dream, I got a one-way ticket to Rio and didn't look back. As soon as I stepped off the plane in Rio, I felt all the rubbish that had been on me the last couple of years, the depression, the sadness, the stress, it all just completely lifted off me the moment I got off the plane. I didn't care about what she had done, how I'd been hurting before. I had this new life to look forward to there. And it was the best decision I ever made in my life, without a doubt, going there. And the idea was to teach English when I got there. I'd done a TEFL course online because realistically I thought that would be the only way I could work in a country where I didn't speak the language. I didn't know anyone in Rio. So that was the plan, was to teach English. And I was going to stay in a few different hostels around Rio to get a feel for different areas while searching for work. And on my second week, I booked my second hostel to go to, and it was Alto Vidigal, at the top of Vidigal favela. Because it was cheap, one, and also I saw it was in a favela, and I thought, if there's a hostel in a favela, how bad can a favela be? You know, it must be okay. You know, the view from there is amazing. I'll go there and just check it out for myself, enjoy the view, see what the community's like, and then go on to another hostel after then. But I liked it so much in this hostel that I then booked to stay, you know, another week, and kind of I got very friendly with the owner who's from Austria. I've always done a bit of DJing, and he liked my music, and he wanted me DJing in the bar up there because they had parties on the terrace. So I kind of found my feet there at Alto Vidigal, and eventually the owner there offered me a job working in the hostel in return for a free bed for the night. So I wasn't working at the time. I needed some kind of work. So I done it and ended up doing more and more work at the hostel and became manager of the place. And stayed there for a year. So it's funny how I just happened to find my feet in the favela, in Vidigal favela. Rocinha favela, if you don't know, is just around the other side of the mountain from Vidigal. Rocinha is the biggest favela in Brazil. And I used to take a lot of guests from the hostel round the mountain into Rocinha for not really tours, but just to kind of maybe shopping and food, because the restaurants were very good in Rocinha. And I was volunteering at a project there as well. So I kind of knew a little bit of Rocinha and had spent some time there. Then just before the World Cup started in 2014, I was then offered a job as a tour guide in Rocinha, which came at a good time because I was just starting to get a little bit fed up of living in a hostel. It was a great job, a great location, but I kind of missed my own kind of space. And I thought that's a great job. I'd love to be a tour guide. So I made the switch then from Vidigal into Rocinha to be a tour guide. Yeah, I always loved it in Rocinha and loved being a tour guide. I'd done it for about 3.5 years before I then opened my school. I got the idea for the school because I went back to England for Christmas and a mate said to me, look, why don't you start a project in the favela? If you do, I will sponsor you. I'll give you some money each month to run a project. And I thought it was a great idea. I opened the school and then a few months later, I then opened a tour company linked to the school as a way to help fund the school as well. So I think 40% of the money from the tours, it worked out roughly, was going into the school to also help fund it. Yeah, and that's how I stayed in Rocinha for a few more years then, running the school and the tour company and living there. And yeah, I loved it. I loved the project. I loved the community and life there. It was great. I was in Brazil for 6 years. Yeah, 1 year in Vidigal and 5 years in Rocinha.
So tell us a little bit more about the project. So what exactly is Favela Phoenix?
Okay, well, Favela Phoenix is an English school which gives free English lessons to children and adults of the Rocinha community. Anything from 3 years upwards, we accept. There's no maximum age limit. So the classes are broken up into 2 age groups for the children, 3 to 7 years and 8 to 13. And then 14 years plus, we would kind of have as adult classes. 2 classes running per day, and everyone would always have 2 classes a week. We've had several sponsors, my friends and family, and some random, some tourists that would come and feel the love of the favela would sometimes set up a regular sponsorship, and the money from the tours, and collectively it's been enough to run the school and pay the teacher. The most of the money goes to paying the teacher.
So if people want to if anyone wants to donate to the project, what's the best way for them to donate to the project?
There's a link on our website that makes it very easy to do a one-off donation or set up a standing order. It's favelaphoenix.org/donate. And there is a few links and make it very easy to donate there.
Another question I've got, because I will never forget the first time I arrived in Brazil and I got to the airport, and it was completely different from anything I'd ever seen before. So obviously it looks completely different to the UK.
Yes.
What was that like? Do you remember how you...
It was just really, really exciting. I just remember being really excited, and there was no fear or worry. I was just really, really excited, and I don't know how, but I knew that I'd made the right decision going there straight away.
What did you think of the people when you first arrived? Were they like friendly? How
I've always found Brazilians to be very friendly and very welcoming, always. Very warm people, very open, very easy to approach and talk to and make friends. They're so friendly. It's very easy to make friends there. Even if, I didn't speak the language at first, it was hard, but they would always, try and be patient with me and the language barrier. And I always found the Brazilians very, very friendly.
So talking about learning the language, how did you learn Portuguese?
So when I got the job in the hostel, that was when I kind of really realized that I needed to learn Portuguese. So I took a 4-week language course in Casa de Caminho in Ipanema, a language school there. So I'd done a 4-week intensive course there. And the rest of it, I just picked up as I went along, really. I found one thing very useful was trying to date, trying to find a girlfriend there. That was a very good way of learning Portuguese, because I was using Tinder and messaging a lot and using Google Translate and the messages, and that actually helped me quite a lot. And then I found, a girlfriend who's now become my wife, and she was very patient with me. When we first got together, my Portuguese was still at an intermediate level, and she was super patient, and being with her has made me almost fluent, really.
Okay, I've got another question here, a fun one. So you're going to open a food stall in London or something like that. What would you be selling?
Does it have to be Brazilian food?
Brazilian.
Definitely acai.
Acai.
Without a doubt, acai. I absolutely loved acai. Loved it. Feijoada. I like feijoada a lot, actually. But acai, I'm all crazy about acai. It's my favourite.
It's delicious, isn't it?
In the favela, it was always the very traditional rice, beans, and chicken with farofa, and I like that a lot. Actually, I noticed that people would have that every day, every single day. My wife as well, every single day, sometimes twice a day, the same thing, which I can't do. I like a little bit different, but I was very happy to eat that a lot. The rice, the black beans, chicken, and with farofa on top.
Did you ever miss the Sunday roast?
You know what? I never had Sunday roast a lot in England anyway, because my parents are vegetarian. Because I didn't have it that much, I didn't miss it that much. The thing I missed most was probably a full English breakfast, though, and a decent cup of tea.
Okay.
How did you survive without the tea over there?
That's right. Yeah. Well, whenever someone would come, I had friends and family come. Always get them to bring me PG tips over.
I'm literally drinking PG tips right now.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best. I remember getting a lot of very strange looks when I wanted milk put in my black tea in Brazil, though. One thing that I really do miss about the foods of Brazil is the fruits, actually. The fruits there are amazing. I always would make a lot of fresh smoothies at home using the fruits, and fantastic. Huge, juicy fruits that I didn't even know existed until I went to Brazil.
Let's talk a little bit about the life in the favelas. How was it living there for so many years, and what was your experience?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And like I said, it was never part of my plan to live in a favela. When I first went to Rio, I thought, like every other foreigner thought, the favelas are places to avoid. They're the dangerous places. If you go there, you might get killed. It's very dangerous. That's where the gangs are. So avoid the favelas. So to actually end up kind of living in a favela since my 8th day in Rio was kind of strange. I'm so glad that I went there and saw for myself, because I think that's what people need to do, is not listen to the other Brazilians that haven't been to a favela who are saying, don't go to a favela, it's very dangerous. Or the media, the media do a very good job of portraying a very bad image of the favelas. I've always been someone to make my own mind up about a place or someone or something, so it's not as bad as what the media make it out to be. Of course, there are gangs there, of course, but what I've found is that there's almost no crime in the favela except drug trafficking. People do not rob each other or assault each other or anything in the favelas. I actually felt safer walking around the favela than I did walking around Ipanema. I learned a route to go through the favela with the tour company owner, who was a local and knew everyone there, and learn areas not to go as well, which is important. Of course, that's more important, more than anything, is to know not where to take. Do not take tourists to certain places, because these guys, the drug traffickers, don't appreciate a group of tourists with cameras coming to where they're working and operating. So you had to kind of respect where they were and their rules. But there was plenty of places, alleyways and interesting places that you could take the tourists still, where you didn't pass these guys. I always felt very welcomed into the community. You know, and that was another reason why I wanted to start my school, actually, as a way to kind of give something back to the community that had welcomed me with open arms and made me feel so at home in the favela. Of course, things happened there a lot. You know, I heard a lot of gunshots. Thankfully, I was living in an area of the favela where there wasn't a risk of a bullet coming in through my wall. But, you know, I know that there is a lot of people that live in certain areas of the favela where a bullet coming in through the wall is a very real risk and reality, you know. I would hear a lot of gunshots and, you know, you just know to stay in. The kind of areas, the shootings always tended to happen in the same areas of the favela. Rua Dois, I remember, is a big hot spot in Rocinha, and you kind of know that when it's kicking off, it's probably in those areas, and you can find out very quickly through social media, through word on the street, where it's happening. Don't go there. But people are so used to it that, you know, if it's not in your immediate area, people just carry on like normal, and it's just like, oh, it's happening in Rua Dois, just don't go near Rua Dois, sort of thing, you know. So it became something quite strange that I got used to. You know, I got used to living with this kind of background noise from time to time and becoming not afraid of it. You know, I love the favela and I'd love to go back as much as I can as well. I mean, I love the fact that I've still got my school there because I've always got that connection with the community that I love, and it's a big reason for me to go back there from time to time. So I can't wait to go back there again and see all my friends. I've made so many friends in the favela. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the day I can go back there and see everyone again.
That's great.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And yeah, I mean, I find your story like really, really touching. And you know, from the beginning to the end. And you know, I'm excited to see what there is for the future.
Yes, maybe I'll go back there one day. Maybe we'll end up living back there. Who knows?
Yes, yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. And,
thank you. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, I don't know. Would you like to leave a message? I don't know.
The people watching are learning English, aren't they?
They are learning English. Yeah.
The goal is really to learn English, I guess. So my message, I guess, would be keep practicing, keep watching YouTube videos, keep practicing the English. Persistence pays off.
Thank you very much. And yeah, it was an absolute pleasure meeting you. I think you're a top bloke, and yeah.
So good luck for the future, wherever you're going to be.
Thank you. Good luck with the channel and the work that you're doing as well. And thanks for inviting me on. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Jody.
Bye.